All right, cool. What's going on, y'all? We're here to talk about this Panthers and Cowboys scouting report. Looking at the past couple games and seeing how the Panthers started the season and till now. I'm gonna be honest with you, like I've always told y'all, right? When we talk about things that's not Cowboy related, I y'all remember when we had the discussion of Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, who was a better quarterback. I said Bryce was my number one, and I stand on it, and I still stand on it to this day. I still think he's better than CJ Stroud, and he was QB1 in that draft. He just happened to be drafted by the Carolina Panthers, who is not a good organization, and they ain't been since Cam Newton. But Bryce Young definitely has the talent. He's just in a bad situation. But he been benched. He was benched for a couple games and kind of was able to do some soul searching. Probably was able to watch his own tape. And ever since then, He's been playing well. Um, but the Carolina Panthers, as far as team, whether it be injury wise or talent wise, they just ain't got it right now. And for what he got right now, he's kind of doing a solid job, right? Because you got to understand, right? Especially when looking at this Carolina Panthers team on the offensive line, it ain't it. The wide receiver core, it ain't it, right? I know they got that Texas tight end. He's solid, but he still got room to grow, and he's a soft fast blocker too. But other than that, the hand that he's dealt, you know, it ain't all that good. So if the Carolina Panthers, continue to build that offense, especially that offensive line, you know, you're probably gonna see a lot more good things from Bryce Young. But that's my stance on that. Let's get straight into it because that's going to lead to what we get ready to talk about, right? So key players, man, is Chuba Hubbard. That's damn near it. Maybe you could say Jatavian Sanders for this one. Teflon, what's going on? Maybe you could say Jatavian Sanders for this one. Maybe because with the loss of Overshown, that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt in closing in. That's going to hurt in guarding these running backs. That's going to hurt in maybe carrying some of these tight ends because we know Donovan Wilson, he's stiff hip, tight hip, so you're going to really feel that. you know, they talk about the Michael Parsons effect in regards to what they miss, even though I didn't see the effect, but you're going to see the Marvian Overshown effect, and I believe you're going to see it this game. But the Panthers ain't got no weapons, so that's going to come in a factor. But you're going to see it. Trust me, you're going to feel that loss. Key matchups. Since we was talking about Sanders versus Wilson, Michael Parsons versus them offensive tackles, and Chuba Hubbard versus what? Maybe Kendricks. Maybe what's his name? Leah Fowl. So and he will dump that ball down. And seeing how Kendricks, right? Because y'all know we've talked about how Kendricks is he's missing on the athleticism, right? He older. So, that step ain't there on what it used to be with the Minnesota Vikings. And you can see that if you go back and look, guys, if y'all ever watched that Monday night game again, and you seen when they dropped that flat pass to Chase Brown, you can see that Kendricks was a step or two late in regards to getting ready to make that play. And if Kendricks was a step or two faster, like if that was Overshown, he don't score. If that was anybody else that had a quicker that was quicker, he don't score. But Kendricks, he's seen it, he just wasn't able to get there. And that's going to happen a lot. And that could potentially happen, going against Chuba Hubbard this game, right? He see it, but he might not be able to get there in time. And we had overshown. He was able to erase, a few mistakes that we didn't have to talk about because he was able to erase some of the mistakes that was made on film. But you don't have your eraser now, right? Some things that, if you got a defensive end taking an inside release, you don't have that eraser to be able to go ahead and dig in and get to the perimeter and make the play, for a no gain or a loss or a quick 2-yard gain. You don't have that no more. So that's going to really hurt your defense for the rest of the season. Hey, bro, did you see Stephen Dunbar said, I got the alert about that. That's crazy. It don't. That's crazy. Yeah, I seen that. I was like, what? He's saying that now? And the way that this team is built, right? And the way that what's coming out in the draft now, especially with the portal, that was crazy to me. Because if the Cowboys gonna put a good team out there, it definitely gonna have to come in more than one ways than a draft. It's gonna have to come from draft and free agency. And whether you want to consider the trade deadline, or I mean the trade have making any trades part of free agency or whatever the case may be, but they need to go ahead and inquire. See, what the Cowboys definitely needs to do is acquire other talent that's already proven. That's exactly what they need to do. They need to acquire talent that has already been proven. But that was crazy, man. That just tell you like what the hell is these people do? This front office, y'all, is incompetent. It's crazy. And I seen right like I seen people, right? Like for instance, right, like people that be on that 104.5.3 the fan at times, giving Jerry a break, man. As far as like, oh man, maybe he's not the final say. Jerry is the final say, regardless of him being influenced or not. He's the final say in that. And so if Jerry is saying yes to not acquiring free agents, if Jerry is saying yes to some of these bad contracts that's being handed out, you can't, no matter if it was Will McClay's idea, Stephen Jones' idea, Mike McCarthy's idea, Zimmer, whoever else, you are the one who has the final say. And you're okaying all this. So Jerry is not exempt from heavy criticism. And if they do that this year, it's like what's the point of watching the Cowboys damn near? Like they ain't even gonna try to get better. They thinking that they can draft, and make it happen. Man, the draft is just a piece of the puzzle. Draft is just a piece. He thinking about it. I think they thinking about all the young talent that they acquire is going to help build them up, right? So they say what? This is who they think. They like, look, Dak. They think Dak got what 3-4 years, right? They drafted a young tackle. They drafted a young center. They got Tyler Smith, right? And they think like, okay, we can get a running back. We got CD. We got a couple tight ends. So they thinking like the way that they built right now is good enough. They thinking that they only have to acquire a few pieces. They like some of the young linebackers they got. They like some of the D tackle, the D linemen that they have, right? They thinking it's good, especially with the two corners. They thinking the way that they're built is good enough. And that's concerning. It's not. It's not. It's not. Facts. Facts, Teflon. Facts. 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 But into the scouting report, man. So Bryce Young, he can't escape the pocket. He will escape the pocket. He will improvise. He will extend these plays, right? And he will make you pay. He will be accurate with it. In looking at both them tackles, one thing that I see in the film was that both them tackles are slow-footed. Especially we're familiar with the left tackle. I forgot his name, Ikram or something like that. Y'all remember when we first watched him, I stated that he's a guard. They got him playing tackle, right? So he's a guard playing tackle. If he If he went to guard, he'll probably be a hell of a guard. He'll probably, I wouldn't say he Tyler Smith, but he would be a hell of a guard if that same tackle went to guard. But they doing that boy a disservice. If they drafted a tackle and slid him inside, that'll help the offensive line tremendously for the Carolina Panthers. So I just gave the Carolina GM something that he can work with if he's listening, because that boy is a guard, but he's slow-footed, and you would expect, right? Since Overshown is gone, you would expect for 11 to be able to start. Now, I'll tell you this: if 11, if he gets his hands on his 11, 11 ain't doing nothing. And seeing how 11 allows everybody to put hands on him, man. If y'all thought, if people thought that he so-called had a good game Monday night, I don't think he gonna have that game this week. If I'm just putting it out there, right, because I was gonna save this to the end, I honestly think the Carolina Panthers can beat the Dallas Cowboys. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. And if you thought that the season was low now, let the Carolina Panthers beat you on Sunday. And you're going to figure out that this thing is going to a whole new all-time low. This is the same team that was playing with the Chiefs. They should have beat the Tampa Bay Bucks, but Chuba Hubbard fumbled in that OT period. They should have won. They gave the Eagles hell, right? And they play you. A team that's discouraged, a team that your leader, Michael Parsons, claims that he feels that damn near the season is over, but he's going to go ahead and so-called continue fighting. You don't say that as a leader, but he said that anyway, right? So that tells me the mindset that these fools got. Man, Carolina Panthers might come in there and mollywop these fools, if we're just being honest. The Carolina Panthers is definitely going to want to establish the run, and they're going to try to lean on Dallas. A lot of the personnel that they come out with is 10 and 11 and 12, right? You'll see some 5 wide, but especially from the Philadelphia game, I seen that they try to the spread Philly out, right? I seen a lot of 3, 4, 10 and 11 out there. So I wouldn't be surprised if they try to also spread Dallas. But then when the Carolina want to say, hey, we about to run down hill, they're gonna run downhill and they're gonna put that 12, they're gonna put that 12 out there and try to punch on somebody. They for sure gonna try to punch on somebody. But that left guard, he doesn't move his feet well. That right guard, because this offensive line is not an athletic line in totality. It's not an athletic line. Pull, sometimes when I see them pull, it looks like they be laboring. Like they don't get there in time when it comes down to pull at times. So this line is not athletic. This line will rarely get to the second level. So this is another one level offensive line. So some of the people that they think, as far as in the Cowboys organization, like somebody like Mozzie Smith, right? If he have a good game, they're going to think that Mozzie Smith is building on a good season. When in all reality, this offensive line, right, ain't being coached and their talent is not up to par, right? The Giants' offensive line, I think, is better than this offensive line. That's how bad I think this offensive line is, right? But if they give, so you see Bryce Young improvise a lot, in a film session because of this offensive line. But yeah, I seen there was one time in a Philly game they had ran a rub route in the end zone for a TD, right? And they hit it to a flat. So that'd be something that I wouldn't be surprised, especially with Overshown being gone, especially with Wilson probably being more in coverage and got Kendricks. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to go ahead and spread Kendricks out for that, though, So keep that in mind. Adam Thielen is a safety blanket for Bryce Young, right? At times, I do think that he needs to speed up that clock in the pocket. He get a little too lax, and that time it needs to be quicker. But that's just gonna come with experience, though. Leggett from South Carolina, and watching him, he has too many drops, too many crucial drops, right? What was it? That Philly game drop. I think it was a drop. Against the Chiefs? I think. And I think I seen him drop against the Tampa Bay Bucks, if I'm not mistaken. He has too many drops. But But he for sure though some if the Carolina Panthers protects the Dallas Cowboys, I mean the Bryce Young I think will pick you apart. He will pick this, and from what I've seen, he ain't scared to go ahead and attack them corners on the outside. So especially the way that Diggs was looking, getting turned around. See, they ain't gonna. Hey, I didn't say nothing this week though, but I seen you boy get turned around. Boy, that was nothing nice with what that boy Chase did to Diggs, man. Turn that boy around. He was doing the hokey pokey and turning himself around. Bland, hey, I wouldn't be surprised, man. They gonna go at him. Now Thielen, he old, he ain't no burner. I think they have more. You got Leggett, Sanders, Trumbull as weapons. I seen the Texas running back got hurt. He got another ACL. I think there was another wide receiver that I'm missing. But yeah, them is not no quality wide receivers, though, right? So he working with bare minimum. But this is a team that is playing inspired and has new juice and has played good teams down to the wire, and they're reeling for a win. They lost to the Chiefs. They lost to the Carolina Panthers, and to the Tampa Bay Bucks, and they should have won. And they lost to Philly, and they probably should have won that game too. So, with that being said, oh, Cowboy Nation, man, if you was thinking that you might have had an easy dub this Sunday, I don't think you do. Like I said, I would not be surprised if the Cowboys lost this game. I repeat, I would not be surprised if the Dallas Cowboys lost this game. The Dallas Cowboys, if they're going to win this game, they need to stop Chuba Hubbard. That needs to be priority number one, is stopping Chuba Hubbard. Because if it ain't, if they start running that ball a little bit, because they commit to the run now, Chuba Hubbard will get 20 carries. They'll commit to the run. They not going to just not run that ball. And Mozzie Smith, he don't get off blocks. So if he ain't getting off blocks in the interior, hey, man, we might get gashed inside. Chuba Hubbard going to run that ball. We might. And then Golston, as much as I like Golston, he's slow on the edge. So if they break that edge, man, he ain't able to get outside contained. Man, that look like that might be some barbecue chicken. I think SMU can SMU can beat the Cowboys. Have they benched Tyler Guyton low key? Especially from that performance that I seen in regards to what's his name, man? Was it 71? Man, y'all know how it be sometime, man, with these names. I don't think that'll be wise to do it, because I actually think, right, that when the past couple games that Tyler Guyton was able to be out there, I think he played a whole lot better than he did, at the beginning of the season. His thing is, one, you got to get healthy, young man. Two, he's just not strong. So that's just hurting him right now. But I'm going to tell you what, though. I didn't see Jadeveon Clowney out there against Philly, but I definitely seen him against the Tampa Bay Bucks. Now, Jadeveon Clowney, man, hey, that'll be a good challenge, for him. That'll be something, though. But, it's a possibility, though, Teflon, though. It could be a possibility, though, because one thing's for sure, right? Even though he's improved, you run the ball better when he's not in there. Whether it be Adoga at left tackle or whether it be Tyler Smith, whenever one of them is at tackle, you're running the football better on that left side, right? Adoga, he going to be wishy-washy a little bit when it comes down to pass, but you do run the ball better. And having Cooper Rush at quarterback, or, I think after this game, you need to put Trey Lance in there. If you're not going to start him, Trey Lance need to get the go. You need to run the football. And Adoga or Tyler Smith at that left tackle position gives you the best chance to have success running the football on that left side. So that is something that, is out there, running the football right, even though he does get to the second level, right? I see him get to the second level. I see him trying. I see the effort. He's just not strong. So he got to get strong. Him and Mozzie Smith need to be going here. As soon as the season over, they need to be attacking the buffets, y'all. I mean, they need to be attacking the buffets, man. You know, they need to go ahead and find them, one of them down south ladies, man, that can cook. And you need to tell them nothing but fried food, potatoes, steak, all that. Cornbread. Hey, that need to be a mainstay in your diet every week. You know what I'm saying? Uh them calories, shit, man. You need to be what damn shit, man. Put 4,000 calories a day minimum in you, man. Minimum, I said. Shoot, man, get ready to go. That boy need to eat, man. But let's go look at this defense a little bit, right? Key players. If Clowney plays, he's definitely one. J.C. Horn and Josie Jewell. Key matchups definitely would be Jadeveon Clowney versus any one of your tackles. J.C. Horn versus CD will probably be a good matchup to watch because J.C. Horn, he a boy could play football. I liked him coming out. I know he had injury concerns, but J.C. Horn, I like that boy coming out. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the Cowboys liked him too. But banged up defense we got here. I did start against Philly, right? I don't know if they would do that against Dallas, but against Philly, I seen them come out there in some 5-man fronts. So that was a little interesting. You know how they wanted to attack that. Of course, part of the game plan was for them to keep Hurts in that pocket. So I know that impacted the pass rush a tad bit. But I'm going to tell you right now, if it ain't Clowney, they not getting no pass rush. They're just not a team. And even on the blitz, they even get blocked in the blitz. Like consistently, they bring 5 or 6 and they don't even get no pressure. Now, speaking of blitz, Josie Jewell is one that I've seen in back-to-back games that they're going to bring a couple times on a blitz. So I would expect Josie Jewell to come for a blitz. I've seen some delayed blitz, I believe, with that rookie Kentucky linebacker. I can't remember his name, but I remember watching him, though. That rookie Kentucky linebacker, they'll bring him on some delayed blitzes. I would expect that. Especially if if Hoffman in there, you know, I would expect that. I don't know how BB looking. I didn't look at the practice report this week yet, but I know he had that concussion and the concussion on the Monday night. So I would think that would impact his chances a little bit. That 24 hours or 36 hours, maybe in this case, makes a big difference. And it's a possibility that we probably might not have him, which impacts that offensive line also tremendously. Now, number 75 at end, I will pick on him, right? Because his athleticism, I seen that they was able to get to the outside when he was at defensive end. So I would definitely pick on him if he out there, right? It's kind of like Golston, right? He'll go ahead and be that bigger body to play the run, but when it come down to really handle that edge and handling with speed, it's he's laboring to get out there. He just don't have the athleticism to get out there. Xavier Woods, that's barbecue chicken. He ain't shit. He wasn't shit in Dallas. He ain't shit with the Carolina Panthers, man. Josie Jewell, I like him. He's a tackling machine. He just with a scrub ass team, right? But as I mentioned before, they're gonna bring him on a lot of blitzes, right? Number 94, I think that's Ashawn Robertson. Hey, that last game against Philly, I was seeing him struggle mightily with gap integrity. He was getting washed down. I don't know. Like, this is the same hero, right? He was a hero, one of them heroes in the Super Bowl. Solid player, Bama boy. I don't know if he just gave up because of the type of team he with or what, but he was getting moved a lot, man. That was very interesting, But if that's him, if that's how he getting down, I would test him and see what's up with him. Uh, I believe that Trey Lance, this game with a package, especially on that zone read, I believe that this will be very successful for the Dallas Cowboys. Um, Now, in regards to how they go about the run, especially in watching the Tampa Bay game and seeing the success that Rashad White had and Bucky Irvin had, especially a little chunk runs on that left side. I think Rico Dowdle should have another solid game against this defensive front, right? But it'll be interesting how they play it though. Seeing how is that Cooper Rush is not pushing the ball downfield. We're not getting many 20 plus plays in regards to passing unless it's just yards after the catch. So I wouldn't be surprised if they start sitting like these other teams been doing is sitting on the Cowboys because the Cowboys is not throwing the ball downfield, right? And that is part of Cooper Rush's arm strength, but then also that is part of Mike McCarthy's play calling, right? Because even though we see that Cooper Rush, right, doesn't have the best arm strength, bro, Cooper Rush can throw it over 20 yards, man. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely should be able to, we definitely gonna have to go ahead and fix that. But this, I would expect I don't know. I don't know if I would say a mucked up game, but it's gonna be an interesting game, and I think Cowboy Nation, it might even be a frustrating game for y'all. If I'm just being honest, man, I've been around the football for a long time, man, and seen the trends, and teams that usually so close to winning is coming together and still fighting, and you got a team that is losing, fighting, and crying, and damn near giving up. Probably a lot giving up, and some ain't. Hey, this is where it becomes a recipe for the disaster right here. So this is definitely it's definitely gonna be interesting. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe the game is in Carolina. If I'm not mistaken. So if it's in Carolina, 10 o'clock, right? 10 o'clock a.m., right? Pacific time, 1 Eastern time. It's going to be interesting. Morning game, travel game, short week. It's going to be interesting. Going to be interesting, I tell you. You know. But yeah, man. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Because Bryce Young, one thing that's going to be interesting too is that, especially against that Tampa game, I seen him make a lot of throws outside the numbers though, you know, and it's gonna be interesting to see how your top players, right, that's playing, how they perform and how they go about the circumstances that this team is in. Because one thing, Cowboy Nation, even though we know we got owners, man, that is incompetent, one thing that you wouldn't want to see is that your top guys that got paid playing like suckers, damn near giving up, damn near getting whooped. No, not damn near getting whooped on by people that they should be locking down. Because in all reality, if Trayvon Diggs is who he say he is, Leggett shouldn't get nothing. I will put Bland on Thielen. He should get nothing. You know? And if sometimes they want to go to the Jordan Lewis side, Jordan Lewis can do it. This is interesting. This is where your big dogs need to stop feeling sorry for themselves and produce. You lost that Monday night game. That's an unfortunate L. But if you was a good team, you would have found a way. Because as soon as you had went to sudden change defense, your boy Bland, who's supposed to be one of his better attributes is tackling, come through with a horrific angle and gives up that chunk play in a tight game. Right? And I'm going to tell you what, going a little bit away from the scouting report, because we're pretty much done with that. What, Cowboy Nation, I think what you should be discouraged about is Mike McCarthy coming back. I got an alert, I think it was today or yesterday, talking about growing sense that Mike McCarthy has a good chance to come back. I don't think that's good for this team. You know, I think coming through and playing it the way that they, as much as especially last live that I gave criticism to Zimmer, right? Zimmer has kept them in a lot of games. He has, you know, can't can't front on that, right there. I disagree with a few moves that he doing, especially giving number 11 freedom, right? Because you got to babysit 11 because 11 doesn't put the work in, so you gonna have to put the work in for him, you know. So that tells me though, right? See, I look at it and respond to coaching, right? How they look at film, how they prepare, how they play, their mentality, their discipline, right? Everything that you could, top to bottom, right? You can look at, the coaching failure, right? Because as much as we talk about, right, how the younger generation, right, is, just the way that they approaching this game of football is just crazy. We can't forget that Andy Reid is coaching the younger generations over there in Kansas City, and they buying into the program. So if we got this team buying into the program, we ain't gonna look at. So you gotta look at Harbaugh with the Chargers, right? How he came over, brought them in there, and got Herbert playing good football, and got them boys buying into the program. So that tells me that there ain't no coaching going on here. There's not. As much as we could say, right, that it ain't Mike McCarthy's fault in totality, I agree. But also, how this team has performed in the past and performed this year, Mike McCarthy is no longer the fit for the Dallas Cowboys. You need you a Harbaugh in here. You need you a Tomlin in here. You need you a Andy Reid in here. Somebody, man, like that's gonna really, really hold these people accountable, man, and really coach them, really make them pay attention to detail, really get them out of their comfort zone, right? And I think, right, regardless of the talent that the Dallas Cowboys need, I think one of the biggest things, the number one thing the Dallas Cowboys could possibly, and I got to put Dan Campbell in there too. You could say Vrabel too. Shit, there's a couple coaches, man, but I think one of the biggest, no, I know the biggest acquisition that the Cowboys need to do is get a real coach. That's not going to kiss these boys' ass. That's going to coach them, make them pay attention to detail, hold them accountable, you know what I'm saying, and demand their respect. Just to name a few things on what we would want our coach to do. And then when you get a coach like that, then he's going to know what he wants to bring in to this organization, which is players who want to play football, smart football players, players who are tough, right? If y'all remember, right, I'm going to give you an example. If y'all remember, I believe it was 2 years ago, right, when we was doing our scouting report. This is when Overshown was coming out. Remember, it was Overshown. It was Dayon Henley, right? But y'all remember when we dig at the bottom in Cincinnati, there was a linebacker named Evon Pace. And Evon Pace didn't get looked at because Evon Pace, he was a little shorter. His arms were shorter, right? So he didn't fit the measurables that, people will want for their linebacker in the NFL. But one thing that I said that man is a football player. In his first year for the Minnesota Vikings, he started. And he plays for them to this day and makes an impact. That's a team that identified that he's a football player, regardless of the measurements, and acquired him, which makes their football team better. The Dallas Cowboys, when they're looking at talent, when they're looking at the coaching, needs to look at the mentality of each. If the mentality ain't there to go ahead and equate to winning, then that's not somebody that you want up in here. Yeah, might as well Teflon, might as well let Leofile, get it all, man. Let's see what he got. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what he got. Might as well give him the whole pie. So let's see what he got. I think though, Leah Fall's best attributes, right? I think he's better in that condensed role. As you can see, we getting a lot out of him in that condensed role. That's one thing that I agree with that Zim doing, right? Because his best attribute, as we discussed plenty of times, right, during the draft season, was that his best attribute was blitzing. And I seen that Zimmer, I think he should be blitzing even more, especially with Overshown out. He should be blitzing even more because that's his best attribute, right? And it's funny. I think if you look at the winning rate, I think, look, I'm gonna tell you, look, even with Overshown, if Overshown worked on his hands the whole offseason, right? For a whole offseason, I think he would be a better pass rusher than Micah Parsons if he worked on his hands the whole offseason. Overshown just getting on there, right? A lot of the times, because he uses his hands better than him though, but he don't use it the way that you would think a defensive end would use it, even though he's not a defensive end. That's why you had certain reporters mistake him for an edge rusher because of how he wins at a decent amount of clip on the edge getting to the quarterback. Just like Maris Lilfowl, right? It'll be interesting to see the sack numbers of these linebackers compared to to number 11, right? Because when they talk about how I think if they I should have I think if Overshown and them rush probably as much as they did, I think that they will probably have some similar numbers. You know, I believe that there was a topic of maybe playing number 11 since he's hurt at linebacker a little bit more. Would I do it? I would. I would blitz him at linebacker, but I definitely would have him. I would drop him. I would drop him. Right? See, when the last time we seen him in coverage? What, his rookie year? I think his rookie year when we had the defensive coordinator, I think he probably got the most out of him. I think he actually did what he was supposed to do with him. Who was it? Nolan? I think when he with Nolan, I think Nolan got the most out of him, right? So they rushed him. He was in coverage. He played linebacker. I think Nolan got the most out of him. Why they're not following that blueprint? I don't know why. You know? I would put him in coverage and see what's going on. Hey man, you guard him. You know what time it is, and I will see. And I will see. I wouldn't just keep rushing him. It's not wise to keep rushing him. It's not. You're wasting him. And then at the end of the day, right? If they're gonna try to pay him all that money, you're really wearing him down. You can see it, right? Let's look at him. When he lines up at defensive end, look at his body when he lines up at three tech. He is small, very small. That's gonna take a toll on him. And he already told us his offseason what he does. He said he don't lift heavy. He said he lift more for reps. What the fuck is you? You need to put that plate of armor on, man. We hitting the weights partly to not only to be strong, but to have that plate of armor on. And he ain't got that army. He ain't got that plate of armor on, man. He ain't got that armor of salvation on, man. you know. So yeah, I think what would be good if he would hit a buffet too. Add a good 10 pounds. I think that'll do him wonderful too. He too small. And if you're gonna rush him 98, 99% of the time, then shit, you need him rushing at what, 235? Man, come on, man, that ain't it. Come on, man. There's some linebackers, right? I think ain't Leofile bigger than him? Come on, man. Is Kendricks bigger than him? I think so. Your linebackers is bigger than your rusher. That's not gonna cut it, man. So this coaching staff should be ashamed of themselves for just allowing him to just rush, and chase stats and Worry about getting paid instead of worried about being winning games, which he claimed that he wanted to win and Super Bowl was a priority. And I believe he said that he was going to bring a Super Bowl to the Dallas Cowboys. And the way that he plays and his approach to the game, the Dallas Cowboys won't even get anywhere close to the Super Bowl with him under the helm. Won't get nowhere close. And if we're being honest, since the season is over officially, I mean, I guess, well, one loss will probably seal the deal, I guess, statistically. Bro, why are we not seeing Deuce Vaughn? I want to see Deuce Vaughn. Because I think that's also an epic fail with Mike McCarthy, not utilizing him. Your most explosive running back is inactive every week. Them running back screens, I think them little 5, 10 yards sometimes that you get, I think them things would be 30 yards, 50 yards with Deuce Vaughn. Don't get it twisted, man. I still stand on what I said when I said that if Deuce Vaughn was a couple inches taller, 20 pounds bigger, that man would have been a first-round pick at running back. Bro, he just didn't not learn how to play football. You got to actually put him in position so he can make a play. You know, I think that this coaching staff is really botching it, and that's part of the reason why that they don't need to go ahead and be here no more after this year. It needs to end. You know, it definitely needs to end. It was nice. Right. A fourth flamingo. I looked at that film. I said, I don't get it. It takes his boy entirely too long to get going. I didn't get it. Maybe they're gonna try to give him more targets since he going against his old team. We're gonna see how that go. But yes, that was a horrible move, right? And I can just tell you, that just shows you the dumbassness of the front office to even give a fourth round for Mingo when you got much better wide receivers going for either at that price or less. Didn't DeAndre Hopkins go for like a fifth? He ain't nowhere near close to DeAndre Hopkins. I don't care if they talking about contract-wise, play-wise, you name it, he's nowhere near him. Even DeAndre Hopkins at this point of his career, he's nowhere near DeAndre Hopkins. But to give him a fourth-round pick, man, hey, I don't know what these boys is doing. Well, we do know what these boys is doing. They fumbling. They fumbling the Dallas Cowboys. They damn near like they just the Maloof brothers with some money. They had a nice, cool little run. And after that, bro, it was just went downhill, right? The Jones is like the Maloof brothers over there with Sacramento. They just got more funds and they ain't in Cap Hill like the Maloof brothers is. But these boys is the Maloof brothers, man. Y'all know about the Maloof brothers. These boys is the Maloof brothers. Man, somebody need to buy these boys out and actually put a competent GM up in here. Because this is ridiculous, right? Ridiculous. But the young guys need to play. I think, we got about what? How many games we got left? About 4 games left? I mean, evidently Trey Lance is not going to be starting this week. But I think after this week, Trey Lance need to go ahead and get them 3 games and let him do his thing. All the guys that's young, hey, put them on display. Put them on display. Mingo, Lance, Schoolmaker, Spanford, Bass, Nealon, Leofow. Let's see what Vigil got. What's up with Caleb? Ain't Caitlin Carson a healthy scratch or he hurt? If he ain't a healthy scratch, man, put him back in that fire. See what's up. Shit, they already put the resources in them out. I thought I was seeing that because I think I seen something about Caitlin Carson was hurt, and then I seen something about he been a healthy scratch. So I don't know. But either way, especially when it was time that the Dallas Cowboys had a chance, having him as a healthy scratch was wonderful. But I think it's time to go ahead and if he can go, time for him to get going. Wanye, you need to see what all them about because you need to make that decision. If this is a team that wants to rely on young talent and wants to rely on the draft, then they need to see what their young talent got. And they need to use these 3-4 games wisely. I know they want to go ahead and be politically correct and saying that they're still fighting and yada, yada, yada. But Jerry and them know the season is over. So it's time to go ahead and prepare and see what you got, man. But all right, y'all, man. I'm up out of here, man. Till the next time, man. See y'all Sunday. We gone.